Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, it's time for Season 3 of Mobbed Up. The host is John Katsilometes. He's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's huge, with clothing, power equipment, tools, and of course, hardware. Big R is located on Bering Boulevard in Sparks, next to Smith's and opposite Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're delighted to welcome to the program John Katsilometes. He is the entertainment critic and writer. I shouldn't say critic, he's the entertainment writer for the Las Vegas Review-Journal and is the most read column in the paper every day, because if you don't know what's going on in John's column, you really don't know what's going on in Las Vegas. So welcome, sir.
Thanks, Sam. It's good to see you, sir.
One of the main reasons I wanted to have you on the program, and I do want to talk a little bit about entertainment later, but we have been a big sponsor of Mobbed Up, both on the program and through my clients, and it was absolutely great first two seasons, and you are now going to be the host of Season 3. And so do we have a start date at this point for when Season 3 will begin?
We're looking at the first week in April, Sam, to launch the first episode of Season 3. That's where we stand right now. We're working on all those the episodes now, but that is our target, if not sooner. But I'll say April, the first week of April, April 1st. Look for it.
Yeah, I remember talking to the staff of the RJ in the sales department when we were looking at potentially how many people were going to download this show, and I said it's going to hit 1 million people, and they kind of laughed at me a little bit. And it's now almost, if it's not gone over 2 million, it's pretty close to 2 million downloads so far, correct?
Yeah, that's at least that many. Yeah, for the work we've done so far. So it's very popular, and we're very proud of the concept and the content up to this point.
Oh yeah, it's been fabulous and so engaging. You worked with Jeff Gurman on the last season. Would you share with us what that was like and what your portion of that was?
What Jeff and I worked on, he was focusing on the history of the Aladdin Hotel Casino on the Strip, which is now Planet Hollywood today. And my contribution was to interview Wayne Newton, because he was an owner of the Aladdin in the early 80s, from 1980 to 82. And they were interested in getting Wayne Newton's account of his experience at the Aladdin, his battles with Johnny Carson, who was also trying to buy the hotel at the same time Wayne was, and all of the ramifications. Wayne wound up in a crisscross of lawsuits with NBC, who had alleged mob ties during one of their news specials. So my role was, Jeff enlisted me to talk to Wayne because I've known Wayne Newton for so long. And I ended up doing 2 hours of interviews with Wayne up at his ranch. He has a home a second home in Kalispell up in Montana, Flathead Lake. And we did the interviews then and came back and edited them. And that portion that I interviewed contributed with Wayne was some of the season of the Aladdin, which was the last time Jeff and I worked together in Jeff's last podcast duties with the Review Journal. And it was very well received. The entire Aladdin season 2 was very well received. And Wayne was very forthcoming in his recollections of that time, and he knew what we were up to. You know, he knew this was a piece of the history that we needed to get down accurately. So it was quite an experience, you know, getting the questions together and kind of being the caretaker of that segment of Mobbed Up.
You know, it's so fascinating to me, the fascination we have as the public for all things mob related, mob books, mob movies, Mobbed Up the podcast. I want to get your thoughts on this, but we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back with more after this timeout.
It's the Lucky Lexus Cash and Free Play giveaways at Tamarack. Weekly cash and free play winners plus a $20,000 cash winner guarantee. And drive home a brand new Lexus NX30 or walk away with $42,500 in cash. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Come join the month-long celebration during the Carson Valley Inn 13th Anniversary Giveaways with guaranteed $1,000 winners every drawing night and a $13,000 grand prize winner guaranteed. Come celebrate with us during the 13th Anniversary Giveaways at the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with John Katsilometes. He's the host of Mobbed Up Season 3. And I was saying right before the break here, you know, what is the fascination we have with the mob after all these years that the mob is actually gone, but yet we still crave more and more information?
You know, we discuss this a lot in Las Vegas, Sam, about the mob's continuing appeal and mystique in our city. I hear all the time that the city was better when the mob ran it. In my view, and living here and looking at this issue, I think the news media, I think entertainment media have combined to create a kind of a mythic culture that rooted in fact that has helped generate the narrative of the mob in Las Vegas and the mob generally. You know, you have the feature films, classics like the Godfather series. You have Casino, expressly about Las Vegas. You know, Oscar Goodman tells me still is the best account of a time in Las Vegas that will never be revisited. We have current events that have happened in our city that might or might not be related to mob activity, like finding bodies in barrels at dwindling Lake Mead, that helps rekindle those days. And we start saying, you know, who was behind the guy in the barrel? You know, was it a mob hit? The mob becomes a thing then. We have we have certain figures here in Las Vegas who have who lived through it, who continue to talk about it once in a while or talk about it continually. I just think that it's mystique. It's a piece of history in our city that will not be recreated. So you create a kind of it's a quasi fantasy view of organized crime and its influence in Las Vegas. You throw in the fact that Howard Hughes helped eradicate mob interests in casinos in Las Vegas. It only heightens the interest. But I think it's a combination of all those things and word of mouth. People who said, "Yeah, back in the day," I still have friends who, back in the day, you'd walk into the Sands and the blackjack dealer knew your name, and he'd get a free buffet and things like that. That was the mob was apparently responsible for because of their attention to hospitality. So it's a unique, Las Vegas is a unique place. How it's grown and developed, and the mob and organized crime influence is a unique relationship to our city as well.
All right, so season 3 of Mobbed Up, which, by the way, if you go to our website, there are links right on the homepage to be able to grab the first 2 seasons, which I recommend people do before April when the new season comes out. But you're doing a series of interviews with Oscar Goodman. How was that?
Well, I will tell you, Sam. We originally sat down with Oscar, and it was kind of the same process of when I interviewed Wayne Newton. They knew that our team knew that I could probably get Oscar to sit down with me at length and talk about his life. So I pitched this idea to Oscar, and he just said, "Yeah, pretty much whatever you want. Where do you want to do it? How do you want to do it?" I thought we would go probably maybe 4 hours tops, 4 visits with him at an hour apiece, and get this together. We decided to do it at Oscar's Steakhouse at the Plaza, his namesake, where he has a licensing deal to use his name and image there, and he feels very comfortable there. We did it in the afternoon. It was usually on a Wednesday because he used to meet with the guys he bets sports with every Wednesday afternoon at the Plaza. They brainstorm their sports betting, so we tied it into that. He'd go off and do his sports bets afterward. It turned into, once we got the momentum going from the interviews, we ended up doing 15 of those sessions total over 17 hours.
Oh my gosh!
It was 17 hours, 15. Yeah. So, having said that, it was a natural progression of our conversations. We kept going. We need to talk about more. And I always tried to keep him and keep us at an hour, so we didn't just get exhausted. And of it, we didn't have to do everything at once. And I kept telling him, I said, let's just keep, as long as you're comfortable, just keep moving this forward, and wherever the editing and Mobbed Up takes us, we'll go there. But these are finite sessions, and he was into it. And it was all audio. We didn't do any video with him, so it was us just coming in. And sometimes he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and I wear a hoodie and a ball cap, and we just sit across from each other and talk. He always had the martini going every one of these sessions. Had the martini with him, which he would drink, and by the end of the martini was pretty much the end of the interview. But it's no prop, that was a real interview assistant. So that was the structure of it. Yeah, it's a lot of content, and we covered everything. We did everything, and this is going to be the entire series, season 3. These interviews are going to be coalesced into our next season.
Without giving away the whole thing, were there things that surprised you?
I think, yeah, and it wasn't, things that kind of took me off guard were not necessarily related to his career as an attorney. We had heard versions of some of these stories before, but as you dug deeper, I think the thing that I took away was how personally Oscar took this work. He was very personally connected to his role as a man who defended those who were being, in his view, wrongly treated or wrongly prosecuted or wrongly surveilled by federal and local law enforcement. He still has that attitude, like he wasn't sure who the bad guys were in this storytelling, if it was him or law enforcement. He would be I think that's what I took away, was that he still has a very personal connection. You know, you talk to Oscar Goodman about somebody like Tony Spilotro, who is universally known to be maybe not a nice guy. Oscar's take on Tony Spilotro is the Tony Spilotro that he knew was always a gentleman, was always very respectful of his family, and was always very grateful to have Oscar in his corner, because he often felt like there was nobody to fight for him. So there you have it. That's common in Oscar's storytelling. Another thing that surprised me, Sam, was there were a couple areas where he spoke about the death of his one was the death of his father. Hit him very hard in retelling that, which was going on during one of his famous cases, and he wasn't able to get back and have a proper burial within 24 hours, according to the Jewish faith, because it was involved in court. That he really softened up when he was talking about that. He talked about the death of his sister, who was a ballerina, and that was very striking to me, that I'd not heard him talk about before. And he still struggles with that, the way her life ended, he explained, as a result of her dance career and some of the physical and emotional and mental turmoil that she had to go through. So those are things that, you know, that add texture to Oscar, that we know, who's very much an animated and has no shortage of bombast when talking about his legal career. But there was a lot of other side of Oscar that I came away with as well.
Did Joe Jablonski feature strongly in this conversation, the former FBI guy?
I don't think his voice is in this, Sam, and I don't know if he's later in the series. Oscar and I did not, if I'm remembering right, did not specifically go into depth on Jablonski. I don't think so.
Because that was quite a fight between those two. You know, it's been fascinating. You know, over the years, you know, I've done interviews, especially in the last few years, with people like Jeff Silver, Bob List, Harry Reid, and Dick Bryan. You know, about the mob era, and I've asked them all, you know, whether they believe Sam Giancana's son, who says that the mob was responsible for taking out the Kennedys and Martin Luther King. Did any of those kind of things come up in conversation?
Silver's in the series, but those claims are not in this season of Mobbed Up. But we do have. We do, in relation to the Kennedy assassination, we have Charlie Harrelson involved very extensively because of his role in the Jimmy Chagra case. And that's Woody Harrelson's father, who a lot of conspiracy theorists thought was a hitman who was on the grassy knoll during the Kennedy assassination. One of the three or four hobos who were seen at the scene, one was thought to be Charles Harrelson, and he was the man who was alleged to have killed Judge Wood in San Antonio, one of Oscar's most famous cases that involved Jimmy Chagra, who allegedly had paid for the hit. So there's a Kennedy assassination link that way, but not in the Giancana context.
Okay, and that's Woody Harrelson's dad, is you're referring to?
Yeah, Charles Harrelson's Woody Harrelson's father. Yeah, late father. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I want to promote again the fact that season 3 is starting in April. Let's take a break, and I want to talk about the other side of your life, which consumes a lot of your nighttime, which is your entertainment reporting. So let's take a break, and we'll come back more with John Katsilometes after this time out.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon is a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere, the Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson, we'll save you a drink.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with John Katsilometes. He is the host of Mobbed Up Season 3, which is going to start in April, and we're all looking forward to that. You can download it wherever you download your podcasts, or get links either from Nevada Newsmakers website or from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Now, John is also known by another name, which is Johnny Katz, which is his name that he uses for his column. And you write about entertainment in the entertainment capital of the world. So I have a couple of questions for you. I want to ask you about that. So, did Caesars freak out when Adele put off her shows and everything got canceled and then rebooked later? It seems like not just the fans who had already bought tickets and booked travel and hotels and all the rest of it, but the fact that Caesars would have to deal with the back end of that, which would be a big financial loss at that time.
Yeah, there was a very there was a lot of tension inside of Caesars Entertainment and Caesars Palace when Adele had originally canceled her shows because of those very reasons. There were refunds of the first weekends of shows that with booked rooms. Especially early on, there was a lot of tension about how to go forward. But one thing about Adele, first of all, I think 90 to 95% of her fans held their tickets. They held their tickets rather than asking for refunds, which is huge. That saved a lot of money and allowed people to plan accordingly. Caesars refill, they were able to fill most of her lost dates with people like Keith Urban and Van Morrison, who came in and slotted into those weekends. Caesars Palace has a lot of entertainers in rotation already. You know, they've had Sting, they've had, Rod Stewart.
So, John, basically they had quite a lineup of stars to be able to fill in. So that portion of it wasn't a problem. But from the gaming perspective, was there a hit, do you think?
I will say I think that there was a hit inside the hotel across different, across the gaming, across the casino, across restaurants for people who were going to come into those weekends who weren't now attending Adele shows, but they were able to recover a lot of that business, in large part with their lineup of the headliners that was already set, and also there was a half dozen shows that Keith Urban specifically filled for Adele. When Caesars, he says Keith Urban's words were he got a panicked call from Caesars Palace officials, Caesars Entertainment officials to fill these dates, and he did it. He already had a show built for the Coliseum. So that helped that helped allay some of the feelings, helped give them some time, give them a little runway. And when Adele finally did announce that she was going to return in November, when she made that announcement, everything reset. And since then, the show has been performed consistently and very capably and at very high cost. So as it turned out, they were able to recoup and feel fine. And the thing is that the artist runs the show in these headlining series on the Strip. Make no mistake about it. And Adele has been, her needs have been met by the company to continue that show. She hasn't missed a night. She's shown up and performed. I saw her opening night. It's terrific. And but it was a little bit chippy in the first couple of weekends with Adele when she announced that she wasn't going to come back last year, about a year ago.
Right. One other last quick question here. Celine Dion, When do you envision that she might return to the Strip at Resorts World?
It's not, to me, when, it's if. I was thinking that she could probably be. They were saying that they've got May dates open for her at the theater, which they do currently. But there's also a lot of word about other headliners coming in, and in the same way, they've got Kevin Hart, who's expected to announce 20 dates this year as kind of a superstar stand-up headliner at the theater at Resorts World. It may move back to the fall. They're gonna continue to move this down.
So, John, you say it's not a question of when, but if Celine Dion can come back.
Exactly. We've been following this health crisis with her for quite some time. She was supposed to be the first performer to open the theater at Resorts World. They said they've been, holding dates in May. Is the most recent word I've gotten out of the hotel. That's coming up very fast. I don't think you can build a show that quickly. You might look late summer, early fall, but it all depends on her health. She has a thing called stiff person syndrome that is, you go into spasms unexpectedly. There's no cure. There's no real consistently accepted treatment long-term for it. And we just have to wait and see if she's ever going to be back in shape in stage shape, condition to perform again. And that's the best intel I can give you right now. It's all depending on her health.
All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this. We can't wait for Mobbed Up Season 3 and love to have you come back and talk more about entertainment on our next visit.
Anytime, Sam. It's great to see you.
Thank you. You too. And we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerauer, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
Our thanks to the Bank Saloon in Carson City and the Builders Alliance for their help with our coverage of the 2023 legislative session. We'll see you on the next broadcast.